Darren, darling.
Wow, David Coverdale looking dashing as ever. I mean, I don't think
I'd do me in a fucking New York heartbeat. I swear to God. Cheers, Darren.
Thank you for doing this. Longtime fan, to say the very least. But before I shower you with compliments and ask you about love songs.
Oh, no, let me stop you.
Is your day going well so far?
The day is fine. I was just wondering if the housekeeper's cooking body parts out there. I have no idea what. I walked out and it's like an abattoir. What's she doing? Jeez, it's just vacuum, for Christ's sake. Sorry.
Am I getting you from the Lake Tahoe area?
Yes. Well, actually, we're in the sleepy foothills of the Sierra Nevadas. It's after having 10 years of degenerative arthritis, starting off positive, after 12 years or whatever the hell, having a really big house, 4 floors, and absolutely impractical for elevators at 7,000 feet. Instead of fighting for it as I did in my last divorce, I was, it was just, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't deal with it. And it's just beautiful. Postcards from God on a daily basis. It's one of the most beautiful alpine lakes in the world. There's no high-rise buildings. You're not allowed to build above tree level.
Right.
There's no industry. So, I mean, when people would fly in from Los Angeles, they'd be standing on the deck just biting off like chunks of fresh air.
Well,
but yeah, it's a glorious place. Yeah, I'm an honorary Nevadan.
Well, I know that you were sworn in as a citizen in Reno and all that, and doing my research.
By Jerry Garcia. I said, you look great for a dead guy.
Well, Lake Tahoe always comes up in interviews when I'm speaking with Mike Love or Cosmo from Creedence, and it seems like a really great classic rock community that you've got out there. What brought you to that area in the first place?
When I first, it was tax. I've been a tax exile since I was 21 years old, many years ago. So when the '87 album just started to go batshit, we had a 7-hour meeting in Los Angeles and thought it best. And they were moving me to Delaware, Miami. I'm going, no, well, the music business at that time, of course, the music business was Los Angeles. So I said, what's the closest place? And funnily enough, at school, I'd done a school project of the Squaw Valley Winter Olympics. So I had heard of Lake Tahoe, but, I was unfamiliar with the geographics of it. And the very first day I woke up, I arrived in the middle of the night, there's no street lights, it's just pitch black. And I woke up the next, I think I'd finished a world tour and had a hive of wasps up my ass about something. And the next day I woke up still kind of pissed and grumpy, making a coffee. And I opened these drapes to this drop jaw, stunning, gorgeous view, widescreen, just unbelievable. I got my coffee and I walked down to this boat dock and I sat there and I felt like all this rusty armor of all the bullshit and the dramas and the soap operas that go on tours just drop off and into the water. Blink, there goes another
off the shoulder.
It was an extraordinary meeting. It was like those Hollywood moments of seeing this woman walking in slow-mo and you suddenly, your drinks paused, slow-moed halfway to your mouth and it's love at first sight and time stops. That was that kind of moment and it still is.
Well, speaking of love at first sight, Love Songs is that new record, if I'm correct on this, the second record in a trilogy?
Correct, yeah. Just to confuse matters, we're not going red, white, but, we're going white, blue, green, whatever the hell. Yeah, it's, we've got an amazing relationship with Rhino and Warner as a super team, very supportive. And when my co-producer, Michael, who you've just been having cyber sex with.
Delightful conversation or cyber sex, whatever you want to call it.
We've had this plan at the back of, getting everybody on the same page in not only at the best of times in what in Naked Puppets is called the music business, it's as rare as hen's teeth, you know. So when you find a team that works well together, you know, honor them and treasure them and work together, and everything that Michael and I have planned and discussed with these guys, they were supportive of. And we've had great success. What is it, 4 box sets we put out? Mm-hmm. I'm that kind of artist now. I'm a box setter, right? You know, so. And I said, we can't, particularly now with economics being so compromised, we can't expect people to drop 40, 50 bucks, you know, very important 40 or 50 bucks on a box set when, you know, they're unemployed or whatever. If indeed we put out anything, it's got to be like taster records of things to come. So that was the whole idea before the Red, White, and Blues trilogy. White being the rock album, that's done amazing. It looks like love songs. It appears Whitesnake is synonymous with love. So that's very encouraging. And we released Now You're Gone today, which redone, scaled into HD. Just beautiful, remixed, you know, added personnel and stuff to anything that Mikey and I looked and went, you know what, we could use an extra guitar on this, or we're keeping all the original songs, you know, as they are. We're going to remaster them, but the primary disc in forthcoming box sets will be the new mix, which is being brought kicking and screaming into the 21st century. But it's, you know, these are literally tastes of things to come, and the guys were totally on board. And I think the first box set will be an album that's never released in America. That was when I fell out of love with Geffen, and that's the Restless Heart project, and that will be, I think, summer. Is it 21 April? But we got the blues album, which is obviously most blues rock, you know. That's, I think, February. So yeah, it was interesting because I thought, is it insensitive tonight? We had really good dialogue with the record company. Is it insensitive in a lockdown, isolate, you know, coronavirus scenario? And then we thought, well, fuck, you know, you see the Netflix and Disney and all of these things just went through the roof. You know, people are going to need glasses when they come out of this. We've got to have them close their eyes, put the headphones on, and listen to some sounds, dude. You know, give your eyes a break. Ear candy.
Well, you just mentioned a great release that you guys did in the last 4, the box set, which has the full Donington show. Wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was such a pleasant surprise, because who even knew that you guys were recording all the cameras on that? You never know with classic concerts whether there's just 1 or 2 cameras on it, or even, you know, Rudy Sarzo or whoever gets his own camera.
Licking everything. Man, he would have been the best representative for Tasty IKEA furniture, wouldn't he? He just licked everything that was nailed down, moving past him. But no, it was fascinating. Literally, that show was before bootlegs and cameras and all that kind of stuff. So we were so fortunate. We got the only recording of, it was one Diamond Vision, I think, the early days of side projection. And it was 75, 80,000 people, officially, a little more. But we were really fortunate to have that and have recorded it for the BBC. So we had the tapes to enjoy. Did you see the recent 30-year reunion with all of the guys, with Steve, Adrian, Rudy, Tommy, and I?
Who knew that was going to happen?
That was so much fun. So much fun for all of us to reconnect like that. You know, I have a great dialogue. We obviously still work side by side with Tommy. But we had Adrian, I last saw just after we finished South America in 2019. And Steve and I have been in touch as I've been tweaking the slip of the tongue stuff, keeping him in touch with what was going on, you know, because he just had so much freedom with that record after working with Lee Roth, who was a little more the boss, as it were. Whereas, you know, there's a reason I work with particular musicians, because I believe I can inspire them to spread their wings and fly and help take Whitesnake up another couple of steps of the ladder. And also, hopefully, I can inspire and be inspired by. You know, that's always the parameter we look at players coming into Whitesnake. It's not just because they're handsome devils.
One of the more handsome bands of the 80s. I think everyone could say that Whitesnake had that distinction to it, but it's always been the who's who.
Bon Jovi, yeah.
Some of them more handsome than others.
No. Only joking.
But it's always been a who's who of the Whitesnake lineup. And of course, your solo record had Earl Slick on it, who was no slouch either. So one thing I'm curious about, when you look at the liner notes of a Whitesnake album, it usually, beyond the publishing credits, it says David Coverdale, vocals, percussion. And it doesn't say guitar or piano, but people who dig a little bit online will see you playing different instruments. Do you always write on guitar or piano?
Both. It's been a situation many years ago. I'm much more limited as a keyboard player than as a guitarist. I'm a domestic guitar god, I think the expression is. But I would write the ballads on piano and the riffs, you know, the rock stuff on guitar. But it really mixes and matches now. I carry so much music in my head. I have an amazingly active muse constantly giving me. I'm working on a Christmas song right now, which I'm being tortured to do it. I told my publishers, and they want it now. And I'm going, well, where the hell am I going to get people to record it, you know? But I come up with basic ideas, flesh them out, but in here, I can hear what Joel can do with that. How, you know, how Red Beach can take one of my, you know, dorky Muddy Waters riffs and torture it into submission, into something entirely, you know, it just makes sense, you know, to work with people who can help you get the best out of it. I was thrilled with the Flesh and Blood album, how everyone, you know, there's a lot of albums that I listen to where I can just listen to the rhythm section, you know, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, John Paul Jones, Bonzo, God rest his soul. You know, the music on there, Little Feat, you know, Allman Brothers, all these guys, I can literally listen to certain things, or just Greg Allman singing, you know, to tune the other things out. With this, we've achieved it with Flesh and Blood. You know, the rhythm section is just astonishing. And that gave us the ability to build this musical high-rise apartment with fascinating songs throughout, exploring how great Tommy Aldridge is, how great Michael Douglas. Who the fuck? Sorry, not Michael Douglas. Michael Devin. Yes, I've got the 70-year-old band in here. But no, everyone's Sean, I think, down. You know.
Yeah, and one thing that amazes me about you as a vocalist is not everybody realizes the sinus problems that you had to overcome in the mid-'80s. And then you also had another bout of it like 10 years or so ago. How is it that you overcame all of that?
No, I'm passionate and determined. My wife was saying to me that, I said, shall I have a coat of arms? You know, for our son Jasper, like a lion, and Cindy would be the old goat, Capricorn, you know, and I'd be the virgin. And I said, it should be, don't give up, you know, never give up. It's just, we don't give up. Our relationship is 30 years deep. You know, our son is of that age now where we're all hitting a 6-month wall, Darren. And it's, you know, and it doesn't look like we're getting out of the woods yet. So, you know, it's very emotionally debilitating. And our son has his highs and lows. He's living in Los Angeles and trained to be an actor. You know, he started getting involved with music last year. Was just anything that's expressive, which he's always been encouraged to do. But it's unbelievable. Cindy and I, my wife and I, have each other to tickle up or fluff up our chakras, as we talk about it, to help get through another day. Because it's just a blur now. If it wasn't for my iPhone, I wouldn't know what fucking day it was. You know, but I will always get through. that's what we say. When Cindy was hitting the 6-month wall a week or two ago, you know, I knew exactly what it was, and I just had to give her space. And, you know, she needs some girl time. You know, she needs to go. She's had 3 trips to Napa planned that, of course, because of the tragedy down there. One hotel, literally, she got an email saying, "I'm so sorry, but the hotel and the golf course burnt down." You know? It's just crazy. It's on top, as if it wasn't enough to deal with, the coronavirus. If that wasn't enough, right now, tell your boys and girls, we have 5 planets in retrograde, and Mercury's just gone retrograde. So I feel like Marilyn Monroe in a 70-year itch with the skirts up around my neck. Are you kidding me? Mercury's my ruling planet, dude. So don't take it personally. We shall come through this, but it's going to be choppy fucking waters for up to Christmas, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, we have an election. Oh,
that's another blessing that we have.
Fuck it. Oh my God, Lord have mercy. I don't know whether the angels are sick of us, Darren, or what. Oh, we're just waiting. Are they worth it? They're going to have to prove they're worth it, or we're out of here. It'll be Atlantis all over, Sodom and Gomorrah all over again.
The hits keep coming.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Well, there you go. Don't give up.
And speaking of the not giving up, I had the pleasure of asking you a question or two at a Live Nation junket 2-3 years ago. It was a national.
Oh, Mickey Jones. Well, Mickey Jones was that?
You and Mick Jones were on stage.
That's right. Yeah. Was that when I had the hashtag fuck Kale?
Yeah. I said, what does David Coverdale eat before he goes on stage? And you said you eat 3 hours before showtime, usually bland, 2 breasts of chicken with nothing on it, baked potato with nothing on it, broccoli and no kale and no fucking quinoa.
Precisely the same. Otherwise, sometimes my assistant will surprise me with a fillet instead of a chicken tits. You know, but it's so interesting. I sing from the diaphragm. It's a very big deal. I mean, years ago, it was 6 hours before a show, and afterwards I could have eaten a 57 Chevy, you know. But so the 3 hours is agreeable, and no spices or anything. Otherwise, I feel it with my on the show, and that's just a distraction that I don't want, you know. But this is great, you know. No vanity. Well, my wife's beautiful, so I have to make sure I can gain access to the boudoir, you know. So, but it's my vanity too, you know. It's part of my industry, and part of my life philosophy is to stay in shape.
So when I said that I was going to be showering you with compliments, this is one of them as a warning. So don't blush too much. Whitesnake is one of the definitive rock bands of all time. Not just hard rock, not just blues rock. It's commercially one of the most successful bands. You guys, when you decided to reactivate Whitesnake in the early 2000s, you were back to playing arenas. It never dipped down to clubs. You know, it's been an ascent, or at least a maintained level for all these years. The songs are still on the radio. Every now and then you pop up on an insurance commercial, NFL games. It just never really ends. And you yourself are a rock and roll Hall of Famer due to your earlier work with Deep Purple. And I know how legendary Deep Purple is everywhere but the States. It's 4 times bigger than the States. So all that said, is there anything that you haven't accomplished that you're still one day hoping to?
Well, we're still working on, as I say, we have last few months in between wildfires, you know, and choking on smoke and the coronavirus, we've been working on the idea of, you know, putting these projects together. We have a professor of UNR comes in and helps us. He's extraordinarily social distancing conscious. We have my assistant Elise, who once again is very, very conscious of social distancing. Michael and I are of an age where our immune system really isn't what it was. So we just have to be ultra careful. So we've been working and thank God we have this amazing studio here. which we've made all the most recent records. And so we've been getting stuff out, putting these projects together, box sets, remixing video. I mean, it's never a dull moment, to be honest. And just putting this radio show has been a whole blast. What we're going to do with it, we don't know just yet. But there's always something to do to keep us occupied, you know, in this environment. And trying to, if indeed there is a box, Darren, is thinking outside it, because all of the things we knew before, they've gone.
Yeah.
That's, when people say return to normal, I think this is an opportunity for a major reset. You can't say it's been normal. No. It hasn't been normal.
I find that artists right now that I speak with, because I take 2-3 interviews a day these days, artists are either suffering from writer's block, don't know what's coming next, and they don't want to think about it, or kind of like you, in some form, it's box sets and new releases and radio show, new projects.
Fucking Christmas songs, dude. Where's my bells?
Exactly.
I've got these fucking amazing bells, and I'm going, I've got to do a Christmas song. I've been talking about it for fucking years. I've got amazing jingle bells, if you'll excuse the expression, even after hernia surgery.
I see what you did there. So do you guys have 2 more questions, and then you're free to your next phoner?
Thank you.
Okay, the first question, what do you like TV-wise these days? What shows are you watching?
All right. Well, we finished Schitt's Creek, which we loved. It's binging, isn't it? It's binging time. I didn't really know what that meant initially, but I'm a member of BAFTA. I'm a voting member of the British Academy, basically the British Oscars.
Yeah.
So I get sent all... I don't know what this Christmas is going to be like, but I usually get the movies prior to release or currently on release to review and then vote for in the BAFTA Awards. So we have had a bunch of those still left over for the lockdown time. We went through Schitt's Creek, which we adored, Ozarks, which we loved, and Billions, adore, Succession. Smart writing, excellent acting, but really our go-to is National Geographic. Yeah, so you can fucking ask me anything on ancient Egypt. I mean, I swear to God, Dr. Albert Lynn is my Indiana Jones of the 21st century. We've watched everything I think he's out of San Diego or the Bay Area. But I think the virus and the shutdown stopped him in his series. But we're fascinated by wildlife and historical stuff. We've done an amazing professor, a very sexy Rubenesque woman called Bettany Hughes is worth looking for Amazon Prime. You know, there's always a good boob shot, you know, her coming up the stairs or something, but she's a whip-smart woman, great writer, and a lovely presenter. So I learned stuff about the UK and things. It's one of the things that we recommended to our son is don't just go World of Warcraft on us. You know, there's all of these things, you know, use it as a learning experience. You know, we put a studio in his house, to be able to, what do you call it, televiewer? Is it where he can work, like we're doing this, he can actually work with his producer on songs and music.
Wow.
So, you know, so it really is a time instead of like, we all have those moments, oh my God, head in hands, you know, reach for the scotch. That could be another title for my book.
Now reach for the sky, reach for
No, you reach for the scotch, a legless autobiography. So, with no disrespect to Douglas Bader, but the other one was How White Was My Snake, and I think that's gonna be the.
Well, the closer, besides buy love songs and all the great Rhino releases that are coming soon, and check out the radio show. Besides that, David, any last words for the kids?
Well, kids, yeah. Well, everyone, just mask up. You know, it's been made a political issue. It's a health issue. It's really simple. The sooner we get rid of this, we can all help by wearing a mask and be respectful to each other, ourselves, and then we can be back in shows. We can be, you know, resume moving forward as a species instead of this lockdown. Like, you know, it's just very disagreeable, but there's a reason for it. There's some not so bright people have made this a political issue and an amendment issue, which is just ridiculous. It's a health issue. And just know you're loved beyond measure. Loved beyond measure.
Know that you're loved because it's the man writing love songs. And well, looking forward to seeing you back at Jones Beach when this all ends.
Oh, yeah.
For the many, many years of great music, David, and just keep up the greatness.
Bless your heart. Thank you, Darren. Nice to see you, man. Stay safe.
Thanks, Mike.
Paltrocast.